Hello and welcome back to Agent versus Human. This is my attempt at demystifying AI, and as I upskill myself with AI and with the new tech that's coming to the market, this is also my attempt to share all of that knowledge with you while I am trying to learn myself. So the last 24 hours, if you've been sleeping, if you are, in the East, have been incredible. There has not been a more exciting day in the field of AI for at least the last 2 years, 3 years since chatbot ChatGPT was actually released. And let me tell you what happened. Let me first show you the news stories and then we'll talk about what, why, and how. So, in the last 24 hours, something called DeepSeek has taken over all of the news stories across the West. DeepSeek is a uh, Chinese startup that built an LLM that basically is able to, according to them, perform almost exactly at the same par with ChatGPT. And the reason why it is so incredible is because they did it with not so sophisticated chips, and which means not so sophisticated GPUs, and with almost no funding. They did it with $6 million, which is nothing, nowhere even close. I think it's a 5%, or I've heard like 10%, somewhere in that range of what it was used to train ChatGPT. And let me walk you through what it has done, the ripple effect it has thrown through the market across the West. This is what the bloodbath looks like. NVIDIA lost $600 billion from its market cap. Why did that happen? Why did that happen? We'll talk through it real quick. DeepSeek sparks AI sell off. NVIDIA posts record market cap loss. This is, by the way, the biggest loss that any company has seen ever in a single day. And the reason why this is important is because up till now, everyone was sitting and thinking about where the future of AI lies. And the assumption was that we need bigger and bigger GPUs. We would need more energy. We would need better data centers. But guess what DeepSeek did? DeepSeek came back and said, well, not so fast. We can build a model that is actually almost equivalent or better, but with uses lesser amount of energy to train and to answer, and cost much less, and also does not need as many GPUs or the same quality of GPUs, which basically throws off the path that Nvidia was on. And this has essentially, thrown off the whole set of assumptions that people have built in the last 2 years. Like, now we have to reset ourselves on what it means to have, what it means to have and build an LLM. Now, let me show you what DeepSeek looks like. If you've seen something like this is what DeepSeek is. I've been playing around with it, and it basically is exactly, similar to what ChatGPT looks like. You can talk to it, but guess what? Right from the first day, you will have search. You have this thing called DeepSeek R, and this is basically very fun to work with, right? So I asked it to talk about as an unbiased journalist, like write a document that talks about the differences between the two models, and it did a really decent job. But here's how what is even more phenomenal: it talks you through how it's thinking. So if you look at this tag, this is not the answer it gave me. It actually talked me through what it would do, how it would think about answering. And it's look at this. Like, first I need to make sure I have the right technical details, and it even goes into details. And it says things like, now DeepSeek, since it's a Chinese model, I should check this public info on the architecture. If not, infer based on the common practices. It is incredible how this is the chain of thought, right? And then it goes on to say, hey, there's another point about blah blah blah, and like, it is actually thinking through this, and you can read this, and it comes back and it says, and it has this thing called aha moments. And then it says, hey, wait, the user might be a developer or a tech savvy person looking to choose between the two models. They need to understand it's talking to itself. It is incredible. It just blew my mind how it was talking to itself, right? And so let me just talk you through what it gave me, and it's a pretty good answer. And it talks about, like, look, these are a model architecture, right? So the ChatGPT is basically built on something called generative pre-trained transformers, right? So this is what 3.5 or 4 is built on. It uses decoders and stuff. And he says like, hey, DeepSeek architecture is less public and it's not less discord, but it elements with task specific optimizations. One of the things I realized and I read in an article about DeepSeek was that it uses the parameters very efficiently. And so what it does is it is able to use those parameters much more efficiently, and talks about computational efficiency. And I'll make a much more detailed video about it. But because of that, it doesn't need enough power. In this method, it's going to change how we look at LLMs. It talks about training data. It talks about other cons, and where did they get the training data from. And you can see like it talks about like this is a Chinese model, and it basically at some point it even talks about how let me see yeah, like literally says it has hard coded Chinese regulations and very strict censorship and political sensitive topics. And it did a pretty decent job. But I'm just like I'm blown away with how good these answers are. In this thing took fraction of the time and fraction of GPUs and fraction of power to actually get to this place. I'm very excited to see where it goes from here. But I'm telling you, one of the big things that comes out of here is if you are building any sort of AI solutions, any sort of AI companies, one of the things I would do is, I was reading this somewhere also, that this basically throws the model wars into a place of uh, what you would call commoditization, right? What this does is it basically says no, ChatGPT is not the only player in the market. Claude was a player, but like it says, yeah, this is just starting, and there'll be bigger players that would come through, startups across the world, and it would only make these models better and cheaper. And what that does for you is, if you are building solutions on top of it, you can switch, because if you've written good prompts that work on ChatGPT, they would also work here. And most likely you would get even better answers in some senses, right? And this is way, way cheaper, by the way. So I'm going to talk through some of these details. I just wanted to kind of make a quick video today to just talk you through what has happened in the market. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone is reading about it. I think this is one of the biggest days in a long, long time. And I just hope, right, like at least this gave you a little bit of sense of like how to think about why Nvidia is being impacted, why it is such a big deal that DeepSeek, like there are so many other models, right? It's not the fact that they're good, it's the fact that they did it with minimal funding, with like $6 million or something, and in 2 years, and with subpar chips. They basically proved the world wrong. That's why it's a big deal. And they're still so good. And which means that what the models that are going to come in the future are going to be even better, even more incredible. So, well, let's hope all of this goes in a very, very exciting direction. What this means for you and me, we need to keep learning, and we need to get better at what AI does, how to build AI agents, how to build AI companies on top of these agents. So hopefully this helps. This was just a good, great story. I couldn't stop myself from building this story today. But I'll talk to you guys soon.